The deeper the ocean gets, the stranger life becomes. Let's explore what lives beneath the surface. Like and subscribe for more amazing wildlife documentaries. Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone is where almost all ocean life begins. Stretching from the surface to about 200 meters deep, it receives enough sunlight to support coral reefs, seagrass, and countless marine animals. Although it covers only a small part of the ocean, this layer is home to most of the species people recognize. Large schools of tuna race through the open water, while dolphins hunt together using teamwork and communication. Sea turtles travel thousands of miles between feeding grounds, and sharks patrol these waters as the ocean's top predators. Even some of the strangest creatures, like the tongue-eating louse and the blue dragon, spend their lives here despite living so close to the surface. This is also the only ocean layer that humans can explore with relative ease. Scuba divers regularly visit coral reefs, while research vessels and submarines can study these waters without facing extreme pressure. Despite being the most familiar part of the ocean, the Twilight Zone is still filled with extraordinary wildlife waiting to be discovered. Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone begins about 200 meters below the surface and extends to around 1,000 meters. Only a faint trace of sunlight reaches these depths, making it too dark for plants to survive. Without sunlight, animals must rely on completely different ways to hunt and avoid becoming prey. One of the most common residents is the lanternfish. Despite its small size, it is among the most abundant vertebrates on Earth. Every night, billions of lanternfish swim toward the surface to feed before returning to the darkness by sunrise. This daily migration is the largest movement of animals on the planet by biomass. Other hunters are built for the dark. The goblin shark detects weak electrical signals from nearby prey before launching its extendable jaws forward in a split second. The stoplight loosejaw uses a rare red bioluminescent light that remains invisible to most deep-sea animals, allowing it to spot prey without being detected. Humans cannot explore the Twilight Zone with ordinary scuba gear. Scientists rely on remotely operated vehicles, deep-diving submersibles, and specialized research submarines to study this hidden world. Even today, many of the animals living here are still rarely seen alive. Midnight Zone. The Midnight Zone stretches from about 1,000 to 4,000 meters below the surface. No sunlight has ever reached this part of the ocean. The temperature stays close to 4 degrees Celsius, and the darkness is absolute. In this world, survival depends on adaptations that seem almost impossible. Many animals create their own light through bioluminescence. Some use it to attract prey, while others flash suddenly to confuse predators or communicate with potential mates. The anglerfish is one of the most famous residents of this zone. Its glowing lure hangs in front of its mouth, like a living fishing rod. When an unsuspecting fish swims closer, the anglerfish strikes in an instant. Far larger predators also roam these depths. The giant squid drifts silently through the darkness, with enormous eyes that can detect the faintest glimmer of light. Its massive tentacles are lined with powerful suckers that can seize almost anything within reach. Humans cannot survive here without specialized technology. Only deep-sea submersibles and remotely operated vehicles can withstand the crushing pressure and freezing water. Even after decades of exploration, much of the Midnight Zone remains one of the least understood habitats on Earth. Abyss. The Abyssal Zone lies between 4,000 and 6,000 meters below the surface. No sunlight reaches this world, and the pressure is hundreds of times greater than at sea level. Food is incredibly scarce, so every meal can mean the difference between life and death. Many animals survive by eating whatever drifts down from the layers above. Sea cucumbers slowly crawl across the seafloor, collecting tiny bits of organic matter buried in the sediment. Nearby, the tripod fish stands motionless on its long fin rays, patiently waiting for small prey to drift within reach. It can remain almost perfectly still for hours, conserving every bit of energy. When a whale dies and sinks into the abyss, everything changes. Its massive body becomes a rare feast that attracts sharks, crabs, worms, and countless scavengers. Even after the soft tissues are gone, bacteria and specialized animals continue feeding on the bones for decades. A single whale fall can support an entire deep-sea community for many years. Very few humans have ever visited the Abyssal Zone. Scientists explore it using powerful research submersibles and remotely operated vehicles built to survive the crushing pressure. Even today, this vast underwater desert remains one of the least explored ecosystems on our planet. Trenches, Hadal Zone. The Hadal Zone is the deepest part of the ocean. It begins about 6,000 meters below the surface and reaches nearly 11,000 meters inside the deepest ocean trenches. If Mount Everest were placed here upside down, its summit would still remain underwater. The pressure is more than 1,000 times greater than at sea level. Despite these extreme conditions, life still survives. The snailfish is one of the deepest living vertebrates ever discovered. Its soft, flexible body allows it to withstand pressures that would instantly crush most other fish. Tiny amphipods also thrive here, feeding on whatever organic material sinks into the trenches from above. Even at the bottom of the ocean, almost every meal still begins with life near the surface. Scientists have even discovered giant single-celled organisms, strange sea cucumbers, and other creatures found nowhere else on Earth. Many of these animals have evolved for millions of years in complete isolation. Some species may exist in just a single trench and nowhere else on the planet. Reaching the Hadal Zone is one of the greatest challenges in ocean exploration. Only a handful of specially built submersibles have ever carried people to these depths. In fact, humans walked on the moon decades before they began exploring the deepest parts of Earth's own oceans. Even today, the Hadal Zone remains one of the last great frontiers of life on our planet. Hydrothermal vent zone. Some of the most extraordinary animals in the ocean don't live in a specific layer at all. Instead, they gather around hydrothermal vents, giant cracks in the seafloor that release superheated water rich in minerals. The water can reach temperatures of over 400 degrees Celsius, yet life thrives just centimeters away. Unlike every ecosystem we've explored so far, this one doesn't depend on sunlight. Instead, specialized bacteria turn chemicals from the vents into energy through a process called chemosynthesis. Those microscopic organisms become the foundation of an entire food web. Giant tube worms can grow over 2 meters long without a mouth or a stomach. Instead, they rely entirely on bacteria living inside their bodies to produce nutrients. Nearby, yeti crabs use their hairy claws to farm bacteria before eating them. Pompeii worms survive closer to the scorching vents than almost any other known animal. Hydrothermal vents were first discovered in 1977 using deep-sea research submersibles. Their discovery completely changed what scientists thought was possible. Today, these hidden oases remain one of the most remarkable places ever found beneath the ocean, proving that life can flourish even in the most extreme environments on Earth. The ocean is far more than a single body of water. Each layer is a different world filled with animals that have evolved in extraordinary ways. Yet much of the deep ocean remains unexplored, and new species are still being discovered today. If you enjoyed this journey through every ocean layer, be sure to subscribe for more wildlife documentaries and animal discoveries.